Welcome to another episode of Polar Bear's Pop Culture Shop TV. We are here at Carved with Lights Workshop. We are here with Nick. I got Jason with me. And Nick, this is your workshop. How do you get through this day-to-day setup right here real quick?
You know, it's easy to produce when you're surrounded by your friends and your inspiration. Luckily, I'm in a position where my workshop is also my collection house. Keeps me happy, keeps my wife happy. You know, they're not in the house, so I get to keep everything here while I'm working. And yeah, no, I couldn't ask for a better situation. I got into action figures during COVID out of boredom, you know, where we're kind of staying at home. I decided to pull out all the vintage stuff. Met my good friend Robert, so shout out to Robert, kind of got me into collecting.
Nick is actually a big part of the shop. A lot of people use his services, so a lot of people don't really know him by face, but they know his product. We do a lot of cool stuff with him, so thank you, because since we've had this relationship, we've been able to have things that we don't have at other, or that they don't have at other shops. So a question for you, how has collecting helped you develop like your business and your products per se?
Always trying to come up with new ideas, new things to sell, new things that I don't like to create the throwaway tchotchke items. I like to make stuff that's gonna be around for a while, that's not gonna get thrown into a junk drawer.
Yeah.
So I like a little bit of the self-preservation in that regard, insofar as like what I'm building. So, you know, starting off laser cutting, you know, it could be really basic stuff, you know, your basic engraving. When I started off, I knew I was a little more ambitious. I knew I could do stuff with more dimension, more character, more flair, and more longevity insofar as like a product. So diving into a lot of the diorama work, or even the collection plaques that I make, or even like the wall art, like the Donatello hanging up over there. You know, I knew I could branch out from doing, you know, some of the generic stuff to stuff that, you know, would be more preserved in the home or the collection, that wouldn't get thrown out, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like waste, I don't like, you know, cheap stuff. So if I'm able to build something that's quality, that somebody enjoys, you know, that's the best part of it.
I know this isn't your full collection, but as far as what we have here now, what is your favorite piece in here?
Or
not
diorama
here.
piece.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now it is the Mezco Green Goblin with the Bayflex Spider-Man diorama I built. The background was made and designed by my creative partner, Goose, so shout out to Goose. This kind of just shows off my ability in what I can produce. So whether it's an acrylic, you know, graphic background with also flight stands attached, but also, you know, your full-scale diorama with the brickwork. And so I think this is a good example of like what I can do, plus more.
That being your favorite dial at the moment, do you have like a favorite toy or favorite line? Like at the moment that you're?
So favorites figure, you know, the Mezco turtles are nice. I will say, just because of this, I am infatuated with the Mezco Green Goblin at this time. The soft goods, the head sculpts, the glider, even with the hands, it just looks like it came right out of the comic pages or even the animated series.
All right, Nick, we were just talking about Mezco and their IP. Also, we met you and you have something that you created. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this was a creative endeavor with me and my creative partner, Goose. These are actually based off of sketches I did elementary, junior high school, but this was Arya Alien right here. She was me and my creative partner's first attempt at making our own action figure. She has points of articulation in the arms, she's got ball joints in the wrist, and she also has a head swivel. It makes you appreciate the engineering and the craftsmanship that go behind each of these action figures, because even knocking out just 10 of these was weeks and weeks of work.
Right.
And, you know, obviously this is 3D printed and a lot of the stuff is mold injection, but, you know, just figuring out things like tolerances and getting the paint right, you know, it was a real struggle. So it made me appreciate, you know, how a lot of these figures are mass produced at scale. And with great quality after having done this endeavor. these guys are kind of like my bread and butter.
Okay.
You know, these are my babies. I've been making these since I started back in 2018. These are my Ouija board stash boxes. These are a lockable stash box, so to open them up, you have to spell the word. The word on this box is key, so K-E over to Y, and they open up. And this is one of my newer models I've been making in the last year or so. This one actually has a false bottom too that you can pull up using the planchette, so you can have an extra secret storage area in the bottom there as well. And once you open it up, you can lock it back up again, spell the word backwards, locks up, and the planchette goes right there on the front. And I've been making these. They've been featured in Rue Morgue Horror Magazine back in 2019, Chris Ramsey's YouTube channel. I started making these because I was really into puzzle boxes at the time.
Yeah.
I had just started my business. I wanted to make one of my own, and you know, I had a couple of late night sketches. My wife telling me to go to bed, and you know, 2 days later I had a working prototype, and ever since then I'm 400 plus of these sold in the last 7 years, and it doesn't seem to be easing up at all either. So they always keep me busy. They're my favorite thing to make. I also have a couple of other secret stash boxes too. So I have a spell book. This is Wickedry for Beginners. So this one is locked. To open it, you got to rotate the serpent and pull out the bookmark, and you got a stash area there. And then just reverse those two moves and you're locked up again. The snake was actually sculpted by my creative partner, Goose, as well. So shout out to Goose. And so this was the second secret lock box that I made in my arsenal here. And then we can talk about my secret jewelry cabinet. They're really statement pieces. They take a little longer for me to build. So right now this box is locked. In order to open it, you got to pluck out the key, which kind of blends in with the graphic there. And you have to make your way down the serpent head. So I make my way down. As you can see, when I get to here, all of a sudden we're open. And you got places to hang jewelry up here on these hooks. You could put some little holders for rings in there. To lock it back up, you're just gonna drag the leaf right back up the serpent, and your little key fits right back in there.
That is awesome. Shout out to Cult Classics. That'll be the Friday the 13th in June. So that'll be Polar Bear's Pop Culture Shop, Carved with Light setup. So if you want to find some of these cool items, they will be available there.
All right, let's talk about Friday 13th event we have coming up for Monster Market. The night event, that'll be on June 13th. I think that's only Friday the 13th this year, I believe. And then June 21st, we will have Horrormonger. That's the Evil Shred event. We'll be at that as well. And then, of course, we have the Epic Toy Show that we host coming up on June 22nd. And then if we roll into July, we will be at Mad Monster as well. And there'll be some other events coming up. We try to stay busy in the summer. You know, that's how we do it.
Keep it rolling.
So that's some of the events coming up. Where can we find you at?
You can find me at Carved with Light on Instagram and on Etsy as well. You could find my collection plates at Polar Bear's Pop Culture Shop.
So we want to thank you, Nick, for having us come in and check out your workshop as well as your collection. It's been a while.
Absolutely.
We've been waiting to come down and see it. Likewise. And we appreciate you supporting the shop, having us down. Thanks to the cameraman. And we appreciate everybody watching. If you want to see more information like this, Polar Bear's Pop Culture Shop TV, make sure you subscribe, hit that sweet bell notification, and we're out till next time.